won the 2024 WCS.
I'll activate Muckraker's effect, targeting Spirit of Yubel.
Sure.
I'll discard this for cost.
One, actually. And full field for Jack there.
Yeah, he's got the full stuff. And is that Haman Lord? No, that's Terror Incarnate. I was like, I saw yellow and all the stars. I was like,
yeah.
is that Haman Lord Searing Thunder in the Yubel deck? Because it's like Sacred Beasts.
Yeah, definitely the storyline deck for sure. But no, that is Yubel Terror Incarnate. Certainly a popular option. Easy to recycle with the glorious Phantom Yubel.
Yeah, it looks like Jack here went. I would just. Oh, but look, Jack's only at 400 life points. That means this match has been a bit of a grind to get to this point up to now.
Well, Yubel monsters are not known for their high attack points. In fact, many of the monsters on the field there do not have attack points, other than that Unchained Soul Lord Ayama, it appears, and then, of course, the... Oh, no, that might actually be a Wave High King Caesar there. Yeah, I do see the arrows there. And then the Muckraker. Those are the only cards with attack points.
And they weren't enough to end Alexander, so he's actually going to get another turn here, potentially trying to break this board, but having something like Desiree, as well as all the Yubel cards and the Nightmare Pain, might be hard to do that.
Spirit Gate effect.
So there we see the effect of opening. It looks like going to be discarding a card and summoning a monster from the graveyard. Going to discard the Fabled Lurie. I believe Fabled Lurie is being discarded for cost here, so I don't think he'll get to activate his effect to come back. Oh, no, Fabled monsters can discard it at all.
That's correct, that's correct.
Anything else on?
They're not Dark World monsters, they're Light Fiends. They're even more interesting. But it is cool to see Yubel, both players just happening to think, you know what, this is what I'm going with. And speaking of old reliable decks, you know, we forgot to cover Fire Kings, we forgot to cover Yubel. There's a lot of decks still floating out in the format doing very well.
And as you can see, these decks are more than powerful enough to keep up. I would say the only thing that these decks maybe like don't love playing against, that other decks are more okay with, are things like the Mulcharmies, right? Like Yubel has to summon from literally every single zone of the game, and so giving your opponent like 4 or 5 free cards can sometimes not feel worth it, even though your end board is so powerful.
No, you're absolutely right there. And also the Malice conversation kind of comes into play too, because Yubel can stutter step whenever Dimension Shifter comes into play, or perhaps there's a bunch of hungry Bestials looking for some delicious dark monsters in the graveyard.
And here we see some really hungry cards like Fiendsmith Engraver trying to use this effect there to fiend on some of those cards, but unfortunately he did get impermed and stopped, and now Alexander's thinking of where he should go next.
Infinite Impermanence still a very powerful card, obviously keeping yourself safe from triple tactics talent and even activate a monster effect.
I'll banish.
So there we see the banishing of the Aerial Eater as well as Phantom Yubel and regular Yubel. Speaking of Battles of Legend Terminal Revenge.
Oh yeah, that's such a crazy card for it to still be seeing play after like what feels like a year.
Oh, we actually summoned the Aerial Eater back using his secondary effect to summon from the graveyard by banishing 2 Fiend monsters with different levels, and then boom, we're going to be linking those two into SP Little Knight, banishing the Nightmare Pain, turning off that ability here, and I think that gives Alexander an out to go for lethal with a swing on Muckraker this turn.
Yeah, Muckraker I do not think is big enough.
It's 1,000 attack points, which means 600 damage with SP Little Knight would be enough for game. And there it is. Did SP just attack for game?
Yeah, I think so. So Jack cleaning it up, Alexander with a smile on his face. I think that assures that he's either a very good sport or definitely won that duel.
Yes, and that's the power of playing a mirror match, right? Alexander knows, like, oh, the only reason I can't attack this Muckraker right now is because of the Nightmare Pain. All I have to do is get rid of that, and we're golden.
Matchup knowledge is certainly a thing. There's no better matchup knowledge than playing against the same deck.
Yes. And it looks like we're going to be going into game 2 here, either level 1 or like level 10. but I believe Phantom Yubel is specifically level 9.
Yeah, still going through the side deck action here, but just some good stuff there as he decides what cards to change. Now, it's true that like the conversation has changed since Yubel first was in its heyday, right, when Phantom Nightmare came out early last year, and even in the Infinite Forbidden format when we just started with the Fiendsmith cards, because no Mulcharmy Fuwalas.
Yes.
So now the deck does get punished a little bit more for just doing what it was going to do anyway.
Also, the most recent FNL list did unlock opening the Spirit Gates back to 3 copies, which is a super powerful card in the Fiendsmith Yubel deck. It's essentially everything the deck wants to do. It's more consistency with Dark Beckoning Beast, it's also more extension, and it can bring back your Nightmare Pain, so you only really need to play one of it.
Yeah, it shows you how much a format can change when there is a Forbidden and Limited list that gets dropped. So we'll see what happens with this Yubel mirror match here and what cards they end up adding in. But just, it shows you that Yubel's really good. And I think Yubel has been doing numbers around the world in terms of maybe not always getting first place, but certainly still getting, you know, top cut contention. And it's a good deck. You don't have to put down your favorite deck just because there's other new shiny cards to play with, but you certainly should know what you're up against. So definitely get some information. But speaking of information, looks like Alexander's ready, present the decks, and they're going to go ahead and cut and get down to it.
And I'm really excited to see how this one match goes because it looks like their first game was a super grind fest, both getting to super low life points. They only have 14 minutes left though to finish off these games 2 and game 3, so I bet you Jack is feeling that time pressure right now.
Definitely, because certainly don't want to get a draw. That is a possibility in Swiss because we're not single elimination yet. And these duels go a while, as we saw. That was practically a 30-minute game one. But with Yubel, you know they're playing their hardest. They just got no attack points.
I also saw Alexander there reveal his first card in hand for turn, which was Fiendsmith in Paradise, a card that I'm not really used to seeing in Yubel, but as we know, it's a really awesome way to get more interactions during your opponent's turn while playing the Fiendsmith deck.
Now, speaking of interactions, we started off with the Nightmare Throne, grabbing the Samsara D Lotus, going to go ahead and normal summon it to tribute it for its effects.
Oh, I just noticed Jack is a fellow lefty player like myself. We love to see it.
Yeah, remember you can always ask your judge for a left-hand accommodation. That's why you see the field spell on what feels like the wrong side there. It's not the wrong side, it's the right side for a left-handed duelist.
So there we're going to see the Throne's effect.
I'll set Nightmare Pain face down.
Going to be using Spirit here to get Nightmare Pain set to the field. Going to be activating Nightmare Pain. Probably going to destroy the same Spirit that we have in play.
Spirit.
Ooh, destroying a Spirit that's in hand.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it can use its effect multiple times a turn, so I think we're going to see many Spirits go to the graveyard.
Ghost Ogre.
Ooh, Ghost Ogre and Nightmare Pain's effect.
That's huge. That's huge. Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, I feel like people know it's a good card now, but I'm so happy to see it being used more and more because it's just... Look at the results you get by adding that card to your deck.
Oh, actually, what Jack did was he used the Spirit in hand and the Samsara in the grave to fusion summon Phantom and then activated Nightmare Pain.
Oh, I see, I see.
And now he's activating Opening here, going to be because he controls a level 10 monster, he can bring back that Nightmare Pain, so it's like Ghost Ogre didn't do anything. And because Nightmare Pain can still be activated more than once, you just can't use the effects more than once.
Definitely the commentator's curse. I said, look at the results you get. You don't get any results, my bad.
No, it was an easy thing to fix. I was like, oh, he's clearly destroying the one that's in his hand, right? That makes so much sense.
I'll draw a turn.
Yes.
All right, so now Alexander gets his turn to play.
Face.
I do see a Cosmic Cyclone in the hand, I think, so...
I like
we're going to start with our own Nightmare Throne.
I'll think.
And actually banishing that Nightmare Throne would be super huge if Jack only plays one.
The Ash.
Ash on the throne.
I'll steal.
Ooh, and there we see Triple
wow.
Tactics Talon, one of the most powerful cards in this game, and he steals the Phantom Yubel from Jack, thus turning off that potential monster effect replacement that card can do.
Yeah, we were talking about the mirror matches. It's one thing to steal a monster. It's another thing to steal a monster you need for your own combos.
It's like Alex has access to 2 Phantom Yubels, even though he can only play 1 in his deck.
Oh, good times, good times. All right, so now that things are settling, Jack considering to activate a card here in the open game state on Resolution. May not.
Samsara D Lotus is definitely more than enough for Alexander to combo off from this position.
Summon for deck.
You guys could just straighten up the games and of course make sure everything is the graveyard. Yep. Thank you.
So Jack is considering on the effect to do something.
Summoning from deck.
Looks like he's going from the deck
Spirit of
anyway, so Spirit of Yubel hitting the
Spirit
field.
effect.
And then Spirit Effect to get that Nightmare Throne like we just saw Jack do on his turn.
He keeps considering that face-down card. There it is, Infinite Permanent stopping the Yubel. And I think that is the right play there because, of course, it would stop access to things like Nightmare Pain. Still a lot of pain on the field there with 2 monsters. You could still make like an Unchained Soul Lord of Yama, but we'll see what happens next.
Yeah. Jack having no more monster effects, so that way Alexander could get value out of that. Phantom Yubel is a little rough to see, but he can always use it as link material like you're saying.
And what's very interesting, you know, some Yubel players would think, oh, why would you give up your one Phantom of Yubel? He's not. He's giving up his opponent so he can still make his own later.
100%. I think Alexander's considering going into his Fiendsmith engine, actually, because he does have that Paradise, and so if he gets to Desiree, he could just send all cards on the field to the graveyard if he wanted to. So that could be a cool line that he's trying to go for.
Hey, you're absolutely right. Moon of the Closed Heaven is here.
Moon.
I always forget. For the regular effect of Paradise, is it send or does it destroy all cards?
I feel like it sends.
That'll definitely matter.
I'm going to lose some points on my Duel Academy exam.
I know Desiree sends. Yeah, it is in fact send all cards to the graveyard. That's beautiful. That's wonderful.
So powerful. Because destroy like in a Rizal format, obviously not as strong, but send, that's always good.
Especially against the Yubel cards, because they all need to be destroyed to activate their effects. Yep, so here we see the Requiem to Lacra, Send Engraver, and now we're just going to do the fun song and dance that is summon more Light Fiends, do more Light Fiend things.
The powers of light and darkness intertwining in this deck. It's not just a Dark Fiend deck, it's also light. And that's paying off dividends easily as Fiendsmith Engraver hits the field. Move to the close second recycles.
Going to be re-equipping the Engraver from the yard. Use the effective Engraver to send
and then you can use
both Spirit of Yubel and Requiem to the yard.
Oh, this is interesting. He went to go activate his own Nightmare Throne, but it looks like there's also going to be Jack's Nightmare Throne here.
One level higher or lower.
Yeah, so Yubel, Spirit of Yubel cannot summon regular Yubel from the deck using Nightmare Throne. It does need to be one higher, as Alexander said.
Can't be 10 to 10, has to be 10 to 11.
Spirit leaves, you gotta get Yubel now.
And that is interesting, yes, because Engraver does destroy with his effect. Nightmare Throne does trigger, which is interesting.
And I will make...
Just like some interesting things you only see. And you see this in a lot of different games where two characters are the same character, but in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, there's all these little nuances, right? Which cards are you adding that your opponent isn't? What things are you thinking about that they aren't, etc.?
Speaking of adding, look at that beautiful OTS 27 super rare sequence coming out from Alexander. It just gives it that nice little extra vibe that I think a card like that deserves.
You always see when duelists really, really love the deck when they start to upgrade it and upgrade it and upgrade it because they've been going to the tournament over and over with the same deck. Like, well, what can I do? I love this deck. Next. You get some shinier versions of your favorite cards.
I'll link summon.
Yep, so there's Desiree. We're going to link someone for the Agnum Day probably here, so that way we can get access to Desiree plus an even more powerful Desiree.
Target the Terror Incarnate to send it to grave, shuffling back sequence.
Oof. Ooh, Agnum Day's effect. Using Desiree's effect here to get rid of that Terror Incarnate so we can attack for more damage.
And no Ultimate Nightmare in sight. Certainly a hard card to play because Yubel Terror Incarnate does miss the timing very often.
Is Alex going for game here? That's 1,800 damage. We're going to use the effect of Agnum Day to bring back Desiree, but I don't think he'll be at the 62 he needs. I think he gains only to 44.
So this is at
2 the math here.
Plus 800, so 46, right?
46.
Oh, swing and a miss, but still a big chunk.
If he held on to the sequence in the yard and equipped that as well, it might have been enough. But he had to get rid of the Terror Incarnate to do any damage at all, so I understand he had to do that.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to have all that damage reflected back into your own face.
So there we're going to see the Fusion Summon of Phantom Yubel. Like we said earlier, Alexander has not used his yet.
I'm putting it in defense.
Ooh, speaking of OTS 27, there's the ultimate rare version of Yubel.
Oh, that is nice. You can see like the little wavy foil lines on it from here. That is crazy.
Except the hand. The hand is perfectly in view because that's who Yubel is.
And I will pass.
And I'm pretty sure that set card is Fiendsmith in Paradise. Going to be able to use the full power effect to send all of the cards to the graveyard. It's
you rarely see that. This is going to be really insane if he pulls that off.
Also, oh yeah, go ahead.
No, you.
I was going to say we have a really fun interaction here from Alex's side because Jack has 2 continuous spells. If he normal summons a card or activates a card, Desiree can actually negate all 3 effects. But he's just going to shotgun the effect of Desiree here to turn off both those continuous spells.
I think that's a good idea because, I mean, actually it's all 3, right? Because if he has 3, yeah, wow. So he's just operating on that. And there's the fist bump. We never get to see the Fiendsmith in Paradise get activated, but Alexander feeling like he's in Paradise right now. He got that game without fail.
Yeah, Dark Beckoning Beast is a really good card when it can search for gates. It's a really bad card when it can let your opponent destroy a monster from their deck.
Yeah, just